Howdy, my name is Derek Henry with XLEV8 Consulting, and in this how-to video, we're going to walk through how to use a macro called create mapped file. Now, the idea behind this is you have some source data and you need to restructure that into some other format or add missing or fields that you need that are not in your source data, and you're going to take that resulting sheet or file and upload it to some system or use it in some other process. Now, to run this, there's a couple different ways, but we're going to use the search macro box and type in create mapped file or some portion of it. Now what it's going to do is it's going to look for a specific sheet. It's looking for this create _ mapped _ file sheet. If it doesn't find it, it's going to build it out for you. And it's going to have the fields that you need to fill in. Now rather than watch me fill that in and set everything up, I've got a completed file that we're going to use and then walk through this and test it out. Now the fields that you're going to want to fill in: what sheet should have the source data, what sheet do you ultimately want it to export to, where should this go, which helps you centralize all the output, what is the prefix of the file that you want to use, what is the format, so you can see all these different formats you can have: Excel, macro enabled, CSV, or TXT, and what row. Now normally this is either row 1 if you want to include headers or row 2 if you don't, and all of the descriptions I've given you are in cell comments for each of these fields. And then off to the side, we'll walk through those in a minute. So what this looks like in my example file here, source data looks like this. Now there's several blank columns because I've gone ahead and I've added fields. We'll come back to what that means in a minute. But if you want to append fields, whether they are formulas or fixed values or something, go ahead and put those in as placeholders so you can kind of model out how this is going to work and what column names refer to what fields. Okay. And then over here, this is the format that we need. Now, not all of these fields are going to be filled in, but we need them all in this structure so that we can output it and import it to some system. So you can see all 27 of these fields here. So as an example of how this works, here's the field name from that output sheet. It's going to ultimately also save that as a separate file. Here is the column we want to link it to. So here's this entity field right here, column A, but in the source data, it's in column B. So we want to reference that so that everything in this column is going to be copied right here and down. And then the same thing for column A and C and D. We're going to copy, and we're kind of mapping what source column should go to what destination column. Now there's more to it. Notice a bunch of these are blank, so nothing's going to be copied. What if you want a fixed value? It's not in our source data, but we want to just paste it in there as a value. Then you could do that. You'd put that in a fixed value column here. So it could be currency, it could be some upload, header information that you need to include for every single row, whatever makes sense. And lastly, you might want to fill in the gaps with formulas. So in column J, this is where we want to add it right here in column J. That's why we have to put in the column here, because it's first going to add this to our source data, then it's going to copy as values. So we want to have in J, we want to use a lookup formula. Now normally when I put this in here, I'll put an apostrophe first. That way it doesn't try to calculate the formula and you can kind of see the result. But it's going to copy this formula, enter that formula as if it's in row 2, okay? Because it's literally going to copy this, it's going to paste it right here, and then it's going to fill it. So if you put in any other column or any other row, this isn't going to work right. You're going to want it as if you entered it yourself right here, or etc. You want to put that in there. Then it's just going to copy and fill it for you, okay? So we've got a roll-up, we've got a VLOOKUP to our roll-up sheet here. Obviously you want to have another sheet if you're going to include that information. So to look this up, return this or this or this. That's what's happening in these 3 formulas. And we've got another if statement just to fill in some value. These are all going to be appended, so rather than have to do that manually, this will do it for you. So to run this, we're going to run the search macro box again, type in the word create and mapped. It's going to process everything. So whether or not you filled it in, it is going to process it. It's going to copy all the columns, all the data it needs to, and then it's going to copy it to the destination sheet. And then it's going to output that file wherever it is that you wanted it to. And it's going to prompt you when it's done. And on top of that, it's even going to tell you, where do we want to open this folder or not? So we're going to say, yeah, that's handy. Let's open that because maybe we're ready to import that to some other file. And here you go. Here's the file that it created. This should look a lot like the export sheet. Pull this to the right screen here so you can see it. So this is the structure that we need. We needed it to be in a text file. It named it for us using a prefix and a timestamp, and it matches what's over here on this sheet, right? So you have everything here in the format that you need. So if you've got some kind of a process where you need to kind of take a file and restructure it, append fields, move them around, apply some formulas, you want to do it systematically, you want to have a consistent result and more efficient, this is a great way to do it. As always, thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.